Of all the guide worlds Toycat and I have made so far, the last one either of us would be expecting to do would be on one thing: mushrooms. At first glance, there's not much to see, just some extra vegetation you could find stirring some soup every now and then. But when you dig a little further, you realize that there's a lot more to these things than you might actually think, which is why I'll be showing you how I made the ultimate mushroom guide world. Wasn't ever expecting to say something like that, but oh well. Pretty obviously, the best place I'm doing this in is in a mushroom biome, and I think this one should be big enough, all things considered. And all things considered, while there's a lot to go with mushrooms, there's not really a lot of blocks to go along with mushrooms, but maybe we could also incorporate, like, the fungus, possibly. Like, there's actually quite a number of blocks with the fungus, too, so maybe we could do both. Maybe we could do both of these. But I think what I'm gonna want to do is build up, like, sort of custom-built mushrooms, kind of, similar to what we saw in, say, like, a Minecraft movie. Like, you remember the big mushroom they stayed at after, like, the whole mining incidents and everything like that? I want to build something similar to that here. And hey, you know what? That actually doesn't look too bad. You know, I could probably just copy and paste this all across this area too, huh? Alongside at the same time building up a few variants of the red mushrooms, as well as building up some brown mushrooms and some nether fungus mushrooms. And I think with that, these 6 different types of mega mushrooms should be what we need to actually decorate this entire mushroom island. And not only do I want, like, you know, these mega mushrooms all over the place, but I also want to have, like, a whole bunch of biome-specific things related to the mushroom biomes, or, like, mushrooms where you could find, or, like, biomes you could find mushrooms in, mushrooms you could find biomes in. That, what sort of sense am I trying to make there? I then went around this mega island, placing down quite a number of these mega mushrooms we just built up using structure blocks. All right, then maybe one more right here. And then it was a matter of a bunch of terraforming and a bunch of biome additions here. Okay, I laid this out in as pretty a uniform area as it physically can, where I do want to have the overworld biomes pretty much over here, around here, with all the mushrooms that can actually generate inside of it. And then the nether biomes probably off in the distance over here, so as we gradually work our way through the guide world, we're eventually going to make ourselves into the natural, non-generated nether, as we can see over here. I'm doing all this for the background. This isn't even part of the guide yet. I guess because the guide part's going to be relatively easy, at least in my mind, but alright. First things first, let's get a dark oak forest grown up here, and this is going to be nothing too special or anything like that. We're just going to grow up some dark oak trees around the place. Why did I grab a jungle sapling? I don't know. Oak is the one I was looking for, but yeah, let's grow up a quick dark oak forest, or as good a one as we physically can, and then see where we have from here. Okay, that's not too bad, But I think before we get too deep into doing all the terraforming and stuff, we should really just work on the guide part. Like, we gotta do it at some point, so we might as well just start doing it. I'm considering having the spawn being inside, like, this mega brown mushroom, as we can see right here. Yeah, you start in here, and then you work your way out, seeing, like, a big sign, and getting all the ideas of what you could do with mushrooms and stuff. And then probably pretty simple path going around the place. It's not going to be anything too spectacular, which I guess is the definition of simple. Maybe something like this. Yeah, this is fine. All right, and then we have a traditional board where we actually show off every single thing related to the guide. And yeah, while there aren't like a huge amount of mushroom blocks, there actually are a few hidden ones that I completely forgot about. And there's no easy way on getting them in creative apart from using commands, because if you do this, you're going to expect you're going to get one of those. Well, not exactly, because you get this one, the sort of pale-ish mushroom block, whatever you want to call it. Like, the red one and the brown one, when you give it by commands, is pretty much exactly the same, no matter which one you put it in, as we can see right here. So either one we could put down. Maybe we could put down both, but at the same time, I mean, look at them. They're the same thing. They're exactly the same thing. Yeah, and should I put the planks and everything? I'll leave it for now. If I change my mind, I could always come back to it. But for now, let's build out more of this path, and then we actually get to the guide part. And with that, we can finally now get to work on the actual guide part of this entire world. Starting off with the most obvious of things, how they actually generate inside the world. Because of course there are certain biomes in the world, such as like a mushroom biome or like a mega taiga, which can have mushrooms generating on top of it. But in the case you want to find them, like say in a more I guess expected place, like inside of a cave, then you're gonna want to find a place that actually has light levels of 12 or below. And straight away I kind of want to make like a small cave walking through here. Why did I make the path already? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna question the fact that I sort of jumped the gun when building the path, but it's all right. It's all right. The job will, of course, still be done. I just need to do a little bit more work than I actually needed to, and it was kind of well worth it. I mean, honestly, if I never built that up, you probably never would have been able to tell. But yeah. Mushrooms can generate inside of caves because it's light level of 12 or under. You could have them grow like inside of very dark areas. I think this is a pretty good place on showing that. And then we could show off how you could actually find it in like other different types of biomes. Like, again, mushroom biome and a mega taiga and other biomes which are escaping me right now. Yeah, all these biome types, and I figured it'd be best to mention that you could actually place it on pretty much any of these different types of blocks. Maybe I should mention that they could generate on pretty much every single type of block too. And then I guess just show an example of just a mishmash of a bunch of different blocks, not cobwebs. Then if we do this and then Oh, I thought you could do that. Okay, maybe not, maybe not. Or, wait, but I have an idea. I think I know how I could do this. Set tonight, and then can we? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. But wait, if I shift this back to I'm good. I'm perfectly good. Okay. You can also find the mushrooms themselves pretty much on, like, say, witch huts or trial chambers too, so it's probably worth actually showing those off, at least to an extent too. One inside the plant pot, inside of the witch hut, and then a couple around the trial chamber spawners right here. Then I think the only other place you could find it right now is at least on fallen trees sometimes. Right then, I think before the fungus, we should probably worry about the big red mushrooms now. And I think that's pretty much all we have to do for the big mushrooms, and something I just forgot. You can actually shear mushrooms and the skeleton bog things to get mushrooms too. How did I forget that? It's fine. It's fine. We can fix this really quickly. There. Easy. It's fixed. Let's move on to the fungus real quick. And I know my main nether area is going to be like over there with the big nether mushrooms, but I could probably make some small ones around here too. Yeah, something simple, something small like this, then I think that gets the point across. I guess I could tell people how you could get the big crimson trees, but I think people kind of already know. No. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I have talked myself into it pre-recording a clip. And if anyone should know about growing these things right now, it probably should be me. And yeah, that is literally all I had to do. Like, well, I would say that to myself for a second, but now we can move on to how we could actually obtain it. I did mention kind of how I did that earlier. I'm probably going to get rid of that and just move it all the way up here. Because I don't know, I think just it being back there kind of randomly is a little, I don't know, it jumps out a little bit to me. It just jumps out a bit. And this should theoretically, again, be an easy thing to explain. It's just like, place bone meal down. It's grown. Really not much more to that, honestly. Actually, there's some things. There's a little bit more to that. Not a huge amount more, but just enough to probably mention here. And I think that's pretty much all I needed to mention about the fungus, pretty much. Like, wait, where am I gonna mention how you pick it up? Like, with a hoe? I don't know. I'll probably mention it afterwards, I guess. Or maybe around the beginning. That could be a good place on doing it. I don't really know. I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out soon enough. Well, actually, maybe there is enough to mention it later on. If you couldn't tell, I am pretty indecisive right now when it comes to this guide world. Well, better time than any to actually figure that out, and I guess actually figure out how to pick up all the mushroom blocks then. And I think this pretty much makes sense. Like, you could get a silk touch pick to mine this down. You could get a fortune pick to get a higher chance of getting all these mushroom blocks. You can pick up these in survival, but the poor blocks are pretty much unobtainable unless you grow them somehow, or unless you're using commands if you want to get the full six-sided mushroom poor block. Like, I knew there was a way you could get these in survival, maybe like a very long time ago, but not anymore. But yeah, I think the only other thing I have to do now is just talk about how you can get, like, the fungus and all the hyphae and all that other different types of stuff. Well, you can use an axe with stems, can use a hoe with all these blocks, and here's all the blocks you can get from the stems and stuff. That's pretty much it. Let's get on to, I guess, the final part of this guide. Well, kind of the final part. Then we gotta do a bunch of decorations with all the forests we want to build up around here. But the main thing I want to end up with is kind of like, I guess, sort of a mushroom oasis, if you want to think of it that way. And I think there's only really one way I could do that. Okay, there's two ways on doing this, but there's one way I want to do it. Oh, are you here? Okay, that's fine. That's okay. I'll just do this with this, which should make a little bit of this. There we go. Oh, careful, careful. Oh boy. I don't know if this will look fully like how I want it to, but we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot and see. And my idea was sort of have like a very like overgrown area with a bunch of waterfalls leading into like a bottom lake area at the very bottom and like many different layers and things like that. And then I went around building up more of these different types of biomes, maybe a couple other mega mushrooms and things like that, just to finalize this entire guide world. And now I think for the most part, pretty much every single thing related to this guide world is pretty much fully built up. I didn't do too many changes to like the rest of this area, apart from a few things at the end. What I did do around the place is build up that another forest over there, build up a taiga forest over there, because obviously mushrooms can generate there. And at the very end, of course, build up this oasis, which I think generally actually doesn't look too bad. It could have been better, probably, if I had more time. But I think, overall, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a serious lot. I also had to mention the mushroom soup. I almost entirely forgot about that, but I'm very much so glad that I didn't. And yeah, if we just take a look from the sky really quick, we could see pretty much everything. Oh, stupid mushroom. Everything I kind of wanted to do is here. I just think maybe I left too many big gaps in some areas. Maybe. It's too late to turn back on things right now, but I think, generally speaking, the guide world is pretty well-rounded, has quite a lot going for it, for such a simple and kind of mundane in some ways item inside the game. Ooh, and I almost forgot, there's one more thing I actually added to the very start, and that is the traditional sign and note block song, as we can see right here. Beautiful.